Alright, so this is the 16th, and I haven't finished my reading journal yet, but that's okay. I'll finish that here in a little bit. And I have my science that I'm going to work on, Merging Mind and Machine by Carl Zimmer. I need to look for 7 facts, connections, or questions. And I don't think that one will be very hard for this one. This is looking at animals, and I did watch the animal videos about bionics on our classroom website, and I would encourage you to do the same. So here we go. Merging Mind and Machine by Carl Zimmer. I'll make sure I get this just a tiny bit. Imagine that you're a superhero. Your superhero powers are activated by a special suit. Oh, Iron Man is by far my favorite superhero. I love Wonder Woman, but Iron Man's pretty cool because it could be real like that. Like, this is the point. You could have it be real. The suit communicates with your brain. It allows you to do amazing things with only a touch. By concentrating on strength, for example, you can kick a soccer ball across the field. By focusing on agility, you can jump to the top of a tree. That would be pretty cool. I don't know why, because I'm afraid of heights, so technically I don't really know how cool that would be, but such a merging of mind and machine may sound like a fantasy. To scientists, though, it is a very real goal. They are creating machines that let paralyzed monkeys walk. These machines may soon help paralyzed humans do the same. Unlike other bionic devices, these robotic limbs and super suits do not communicate with muscles and nerves. Instead, they have a direct line to the brain. Awesome. Kind of creepy too, but... And I'm going to put... Because that's really my connection to this. I mean, really, this is so cool because Iron Man is like the whole point. Like, it could happen. It's very real. Our subheading, Mapping the Mind. This picture up here just shows, it says, the sensors plugged into this helmet sense signals in the brain. The signals are converted into maps, such as the one to the right. Holy smokes. Kind of hard to see, but it says new brain mapping technologies are allowing scientists to see the brain like never before. In this image, each color is a nerve pathway that runs between different parts of the brain. Oh my gosh, just phenomenal to think how your brain actually works. Anyway, mapping the mind. Exoskeletons are the result of a flood of discoveries happening now in the field of brain science. I have to write this again. That's exactly what that Iron Man was. They build those exoskeletons like an insect, and it clamps onto the outside of you. These breakthroughs make it easy to forget that for much of history we had no idea how the brain worked. In fact, we didn't even know what it was. In the ancient world, physicians believed that the brain was made of yellow liquid called phlegm. The scientific revolution in the 17th century changed that thinking. That would be weird because if you like hunted or killed an animal, I would think that you'd be able to like know that that's not the case. Weird. Maybe they just saw earwax. If that's yellow. Oops. Do you think that's what it would be? Yellow earwax is what made him think that? Because that just doesn't make any other sense. The British physician Thomas Willis recognized that the custard-like tissue of the brain was where our mental world existed. That is so gross, a reference to food, a custard-like brain. It's not even like custard. It's a giant piece of fat. Still, it would take another century for scientists to discover that electricity travels through the brain. Today, scientists have begun to map these electrical pathways. They are a network of 100,000 miles of nerves that gives rise to everything that we think, feel, and perceive. Brains are amazing. mean, honestly, that's just crazy to think of all the things that your brain does and how quickly it does it. Basic brain basics. Sorry. Most of this research is in its early stages, but there's one area of the brain research that has already started to change people's lives. One of these people is a paralyzed woman named Kathy Hutchinson. I'm going to look her up. To understand Hutchinson's story, you must first know some brain basics. Near the top of the brain is the motor cortex. This is where we generate commands to move our muscles. When people like Hutchinson become paralyzed, the motor cortex remains, but it can't communicate with the rest of the body because its connections have been destroyed. Huh. So it's like a road that works, but the bridge is broken to get to the other side. Brain scientist John Donahue wanted to tap into those signals from the motor cortex. All right. So now that I have that, I'm going to take my science journal and write down September 16th. Which actually, it's probably more important that you write week 1, day 3, science. And the title of the article is Emerging, and I'm going to copy the title because remember it needs to be spelled correctly for your grade. Emerging mind and machine. I underlined that. Alright, so now I just need my 7 facts. 1. Exoskeletons. Actually, I'm going to go from this page. That's the next page. Bionics allows people who need help moving to have more movement. That R looks like a V. Number 2. I wonder how much they cost, or if it is free, because it's an experiment. They don't always guarantee for things to work. 3. I would love to have a suit like man weapons with weapons. I mean, it wouldn't be horrible. I mean, obviously, I would have a teacher suit, so I wouldn't have weapons at school. But if I were flying around above the world, it would be pretty cool to have, you know, an occasional thing just in case I need to protect myself. Alright, so I'm going to go back to this other page, and I want to get some of this information. They used to think brains long ago. They thought brains were just, what did they call it? Yellow liquid. Just a yellow liquid, Liquid. All these words should be spelled correctly. They are right here. And I will actually put called phylum. PH makes the F sound. Phylum. Legm. Yuck. 5. Exoskeletons. EXO. Oops, sorry. SKELETO. Exoskeletons. It says right here, exoskeletons are a result of a flood of discoveries happening in the are being looked at to help in the field of brain science. And then, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, there's 100,000 miles of nerves. 6. The brain. There is 100. Oops, forgot the comma. Miles of nerves. NERVES that help us, help us feel and communicate. And last thing, number 7, I'm definitely doing this. I'll look it up and add it to our links. Who is Kathy Hutchison and why is she so awesome? Must know more. Alright, so I'm good. There's my 7 entries. I have capitals and end marks. I would go ahead and score this, just making sure, especially even if I use like Iron Man. I wish I think man would need to be capitalized. Long ago, capital, period, capital, period, capital, period, capital. And make sure her name is capitalized and period. Alright, and I got my title underlined. So I get 14 points. I have an A+. I'm rocking this. Alright. See you in a little.